On June the 11th, 2024, the determined fishermen began fishing on a windy, gloomy day, free lining with live shrimp on a 1/0 J-hook and no sinker. Usually, the water is clear enough to see to the bottom on a low tide here at the Dunedin Causeway, but the sun is not shining bright and visibility is limited. Not bad for the first cast on live shrimp number 1, but it is an undersized mangrove snapper, and it will have to be released. Mangrove snappers have to be at least 10 inches to be a keeper here in Florida. And the determined fisherman has realized by experience that just because a fish meets the size regulations doesn't mean it should be harvested. Just like pompano, sheepshead, trout, or any other fish. The bigger the fish, the more meat there will be to eat, making it worthwhile. This determined gentleman is using a whole live pinfish as bait, and I don't think he sees the determined fisherman's line that is casted directly in front of him. Nope, he did not. There's not a written handbook on fish etiquette, but when there are other people fishing in somewhat of a close proximity, it's a good rule of thumb to observe where anyone is casted before casting out your own line. Those long-necked birds are opportunistic thieves. Not getting very many bites, the determined fishermen decided to pack up to change locations, and then this happened.
Our line's crossed, sir.
Yep, the determined fisherman was not looking forward to reeling in his line after the other determined gentleman cast it. And this is why knowing fish etiquette is so important.
I think I might try that other bridge over there. Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea.
Y'all have a good one.
Now that the determined fisherman is at the other bridge, his luck still hasn't changed yet. He got stuck on some kind of debris and is going to have to use the method the man on the Skyway Pier taught him. Boom, I know you heard that line snap back. And it looks like he didn't lose much of his 12-foot fluorocarbon leader and can just reattach a new hook. So please remember to never cut your line, because if you do, this could happen. Yep, you might have guessed it. The determined fisherman caught another fisherman's fishing line. And instead of just cutting it and returning it to an underwater forever home, the determined fisherman does his part by removing as much as he can from the waterway. Just as the determined fisherman got to the thick of the problem, the heavy rain and gusts of wind picked up tremendously, which made him make the decision to take cover from a possible incoming water spout. After the wind slowed down, the determined fisherman had only two things to do, which was fish and chew bubblegum. And he was all out of bubblegum. So that's when the determined fisherman salvaged the tackle he found stuck on the seaweed and properly disposed of the drift fishing line. The determined fisherman and his persistence did not falter through the thunder and lightning, which slowly started to turn the tables on his luck. Oh, he got one. The determined fisherman caught a grunt, and it is also known as a sailor's choice, which are edible and is said to have white, flaky flesh and a mild flavor that has been compared to snapper or black bass. But today, this is not one of the determined fisherman's targeted species. Plus, it's too small anyway, so instead of keeping it as cut bait, the determined fisherman released it. Well, since there wasn't much biting at the second location at the Dunedin Causeway, the determined fisherman decided to head to his truck.
Hey, good luck. Thank you.
The determined fisherman found umbrella holders on Amazon that he uses as fishing pole holders when the ground is solid and not like powdered beach sand. The determined fisherman used his jig and homemade pompano teaser for a while, but the only thing all of the fish would respond to is shrimp. Let's see how long it takes for a fish to bite. Remind you, the determined fisherman is still free lining without a sinker. Well, he definitely didn't beat the 10-second fishing challenge.
Hello. Oh, come on now. Take it. Ah, yeah, take it. What's that? What's that? Ooh, what's the mango? Oh, that's a grunt trying to disguise itself as a mango.
Yeah, that's a grunt fish. Sometimes the determined fisherman keeps these grunts to use as cut bait, just as he does with pinfish. But on this day, the determined fisherman released it back because he had plenty of live shrimp left. The determined fisherman is still free-line fishing, which means he has no weights or sinkers, just fishing line and a hook. The tide is high, but it is slowly moving out towards low tide. And the rain is still likely falling. Sometimes when a fish swims towards you while in the hook, it makes you think there's nothing on the line.
Oh, man.
Yeah, got him.
Speck. Got a speck.
Speckled trout have to be between 15 and 19 inches to be a keeper, so this one is going back. One thing about free line fishing is that it helps to have somewhat of a hefty bait and or very light line to cast a good enough distance. The determined fisherman is using 10-pound braid and 20-pound fluorocarbon to free line with.
No, they actually biting. Oh,
I ain't got him yet.
ah, did I get him? Yeah, I got him.
Little mango.
Mangrove snapper are commonly found near structure, such as docks, mangroves, shipwrecks, and debris. Mangrove snapper tastes so good seasoned with onion powder, garlic powder, some Old Bay, and then cooking it in a skillet with some butter.
I think the tide might be rolling out.
When the tide is low here, the pylons you see submerged in the water become totally exposed, along with a very rocky seafloor, which is home to the smaller marine life that attracts larger game fish.
Oh, what is that? Yes! 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 Yeah, buddy! My first red! Oh, oh, my first red! Oh, this ain't no 19, I mean no, whatchamacallit? Dang!
Reds, which are formerly known as red drum, are a very tasty sought-after game fish that has a slot size regulation, with a minimum length of 18 inches and maximum length of 27 inches. This one was 14 inches and got sent back on its way to get bigger. The stormy weather has cleared for the determined fishermen, and a rainbow shines in the distance. The pylons are becoming more and more exposed as the tide gets lower. The determined fisherman did not know he was in the presence of a professional bass fisherman who is featured on MajorLeagueFishing.com.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Feeding them.
What you got on the other one?
Mahara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I ain't talking. I know what you're trying to get now. You done said that Mahara on there. Trying to get you a big old red fish.
I actually caught a red on half a shrimp earlier.
Did you?
Yeah. It was like 14 inches.
Yeah, I figured this rain might trigger them to bite better. Puffer?
No, pinfish look like. Yeah, pinfish. It's a good cut bait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you, that was too big though, but if you catch them, all I do is take my scissors, just cut the fin off the back, cut it off the bottom, so you can't really fit. And he does a lot more thudding.
Oh.
So you can't really swim with it.
It was pretty good.
Thuds more. Not you, but you fight. Struggling down there.
Sure. I gonna say, do you want to use that live one while it's still live?
Man, I'll touch my live bait.
Okay.
Hey, I would use them. I fish a lot of bass tournaments. You can't use live bait.
Oh.
So I won't, ain't no sense in starting. I mean, I can catch more fish than you can. So I fish. I'm serious.
I believe. Cause I just.
This little pompano jig here, ladyfish, squirrelfish, trout, freaking
Flounder and
everything. I caught a flounder yesterday.
Sure.
I'm like, dude, it's deadly.
I had made my first pompano teasers, and and the first thing I caught was a flounder, and then pufferfish, and then lizardfish, and then sand perch, and then I finally caught a pompano on Fort DeSoto.
Okay.
But I was catching everything else, huh?
On the pier, Fort DeSoto?
Yeah, the second pier.
I've never been down there. I've heard about it, but I just don't.
Oh, too small. Mango.
Try to eat it, I'm sure. Some fish will eat it, but legally, you can't fish it.
No, We caught two keepers on Sunday down there underneath the bridge.
With the tide where it is now?
I know it was low tide.
Yeah, I'm talking about where it is now. This guy walks all the way to the bridge, right where that corner is. Not go on the bridge. Drops it. Free line, no weight. Put his bait, cut bait, right there. Feed the line up. Once you get around that corner and drops to where that little ledge is, don't. I mean, he was catching big ones. Big. I'm like, well, you ain't got to measure that one. He's like, no. He's like, I try to keep all the big ones. I'm like, yeah, I see that. Yeah, it's you gotta. You probably set up say you got braid on there.
Yeah.
I go if you're gonna do that for bait, man, go to 10-pound braid.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm saying you cast. It'll cast a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah,
This
good.
thing right here's got. I've used the spider wire because it was all I had. I have like 4 spools, but I used them all up. This is spider wire, 15 pounds.
I'm sure.
And that's bumping them big. That's like a half pound. And that's not really a hard cast.
Sure. When I first started using braid, I was like using like a 100-pound test, and I was like wondering why my cast wasn't going that far. And then I dropped down to 70, 50, and then once I went down to 20, I'm like, whoa! This.
Hey, 15, 20. Honestly, depends on what you're throwing.
Yeah.
10, 15, 20. That's about all you need. If you throw bass fish, 30 pound is good. So it's a little bit stronger. But you can't set, you gotta have a soft tip rod. You gotta have the right equipment to do it.
True.
And I was using 20-pound braid, 20-pound fluoro. And after casting, pumping it, you gotta be jerking on the whole time.
Yeah.
Broke off a couple times on it.
Oh man.
And then I'm like, yeah. But when I go to 30 goes through the guides rough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do that FG knot to make them slide through a lot easier. And spider wires are different.
Yeah.
See, the FG knot is not as big and it'll slide through because just a little tag in on it.
True.
How much leader do you have on yours?
This one is probably like a little over 12 feet maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause sometimes like once that braid hit that rock, it just separate.
Right. It'll
It's a all bright knot.
Yeah. Not very good. I mean, it's tied good, but it's just not real strong. Double union is not as strong either. I have them break. Depending on the pound, when you get to the light line, these knots, you got to find a knot that works with the light line. That's
Right.
I mean, if you haven't had a problem with it.
Not yet, at least.
You gotta catch more.
Right. Right.
Hey, my name's Tony.
Online, I go by the Determined Fisherman.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right, well, I'll be calling you.
All right. Good luck.
Hey, nothing, I'll see you.
Yeah.
The determined fisherman seems to always come across some cool people while fishing.